This is a used replacement shaft for the NP241 DHD transfer case that I was working on. And so this is the old shaft here, and I've got it sitting on this homemade little jig to support the shaft to spin it. And primarily I was interested in the straightness of this shaft, but the old one's on here now. So I'll just spin it, and then you can see how this works. And it does seem to be off a little. So I'm replacing this shaft because of the marks here on the end. Like there's a needle bearing that sits, this end of the shaft sits in a needle bearing. And you see the lines that run across the shaft, and I can feel it when I run my finger on there. I can actually feel those little marks. So I was concerned that possibly the bearing would disintegrate from the unsmooth surface in time. So really simple to build. I just used some steel that I already had, some angle, and cut some notches in there so that the shaft has a place to sit in on both sides. And an extra area here for the dial indicator, so I can set it up so the, you know, if I wanted the dial indicator here, or if I had this thing longer or different type of shaft or whatever. So different configurations could easily be done. So yeah, some angle, and I got a piece of square tube here. So it turns out that these two shafts are not made exactly the same. This is from a 97, and I suspect this is going to be a 98 or newer. And the difference that I found is the grooves here for the snap rings. So this one, the transfer case drives the speedometer from that area there. So that's what this gear is for. It slides on. The two snap rings hold this gear in place. And you can see this shaft, it doesn't have those two grooves. So, but otherwise it looks like the shafts are made identical. So I talked to a machinist. My concern was that the shaft was going to possibly be too hard to cut these grooves, but he figured he'd be able to do it. He figured just go slow, and he figured he'd be able to cut those grooves in there. So anyways, that's a bit of an update for you guys.